Now to a huge game in the race for the top four tonight, with Liverpool hosting Chelsea. It sees the fellow Germans Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel meeting in the Premier League for the first time, and Liverpool will be hoping to avoid creating an unwelcome record. Former defender Glen Johnson played for both clubs and joins us now. Glenn, very good afternoon to you. We'll start with Liverpool. 4 straight defeats at Anfield for Liverpool. I know they got a win against Sheffield United. They've never lost 5 at Anfield, though. So what's going wrong for them, particularly at home at the moment?
I think, obviously we all know about their injury crisis. They've had 18 partnerships at the back, which don't help any team. But more importantly, I think they're missing the fans. Obviously, we know that Liverpool play with a massive high-pressure game, and they run to the 95th minute. And sometimes that's hard to do when you haven't got the crowd giving you that little G-up and that extra bit of energy.
Some good news for them recently on the injury front. There's been enough bad news for them, but Alisson will return to the team after his compassionate leave. And we understand Fabinho will be back from injury as well. So, how much of a boost will that be for Jurgen Klopp and the team?
Obviously it's going to be a boost. It's great to have the players back fit. But, Fabinho he's going to come back. He's not going to be fully match fit. And he's probably going to be expected to play out of position again. And like I said, he's probably one of the best midfielders in terms of who could naturally or more naturally slot into centre-half. But he's still not a centre-half. But look, the way it's been going in recent weeks, I think they'll be very pleased to have him back.
Do you think Klopp will be feeling any extra pressure? I know he'll be feeling the usual pressure a manager does, of course, defending champions, and the campaign hasn't been so smooth. But do you think he'll feel extra pressure to get a result tonight?
I wouldn't say extra pressure, because the problems are still there. The guys are not performing, really badly. It's just the fact that they haven't got the personnel in their right positions. And any team out there with the injury list that Liverpool have got would feel the pain at the same time. So I don't think he's going to feel the extra pressure, but no one would want to get back to winning ways quicker than Klopp will.
No, and if we look at their positions in the table, it's very nicely set up in the race for the top 4, isn't it? With Chelsea in 5th with 44, Liverpool 6th with 43, Everton on the same point as well. I mean, how key is this match, particularly in the race for the Champions League?
I think it's massive. It's almost a 6-pointer. I think there's only one more space available in the top 4. It's going to be a very, very important game, and obviously Chelsea are going to go there in decent form, and I just think it's going to be a key match for both teams. Well,
you think only one place left? Do you think Leicester probably quite safe, regardless of their form and injury concerns? You don't think Chelsea and Liverpool could get into that top 4?
It's a tight one. I wouldn't put money on. I think there's only one. I think Leicester will hold on. I think they've been very solid. Yes, of course they've got their own concerns, but I do think there's only the 4th spot available. But who's going to get it? Time will tell us.
And as for Chelsea, well, it's been pretty good going under Thomas Tuchel so far, unbeaten. What has he changed? What have you seen that he has changed to make that team better?
Well, I think the obvious thing is bringing a few players back from the dead. In terms of, there's been a lot of players. The first one that jumps on mind is Alonso. Obviously, I think he's a great player, but he's kind of been out in the cold in recent weeks. So I think he's brought a few players back into the fold that probably thought that their Chelsea career was over. And he's just got them more solid at the back, I think. And don't get me wrong, the form, of course they're unbeaten, but they have played some teams that they should be beating. They've had a couple of fantastic results in there, of course, but I think it's just the fact that they've been more solid at the back.
Yeah, quite a few clean sheets as well, which is always good for confidence throughout the team. And Tuchel himself, very similar career path to Jurgen Klopp, many of the same clubs, of course. I mean, can you see him having the same kind of impact on Chelsea that Klopp's had on Liverpool?
Yeah, possibly. Look what Klopp's done at Liverpool has been amazing. Literally, it's been borderline perfect. So it's going to be hard to replicate that. But look, Chelsea is an unbelievable club. They've got a fantastic squad, and they've got an owner that will back the managers, in the market. So if they get their recruitment right, to add to the fantastic squad they got, then of course they can go on to back where Chelsea were and should be in terms of fighting for the league and dominating in the Champions League as well.
But the question will be, how long will Tuchel be given to do that? It's such notoriously short tenure as a manager there.
Well, yeah, as you rightly say, it's probably the hottest seat in world football. But Tuchel would have known that before he took the job. And like you say, you don't get time, so he's hit the ground running so far, so he needs that to continue.
And look, in terms of where this match may be won and lost, which are the key battles that you'll be looking out for tonight?
I think it'd be how well Liverpool can shore it up at the back. If Fabinho's fit enough to come in and play, whether he lasts 90 minutes is a different matter. But I think the more solid Liverpool are at the back, the more chance they got of winning.
Well, I mean, and winning is the carrot is, of course, to take the lead in that race for the top four. Prediction, Glenn, you did say that you thought it might be a tight one. So are you going to sit in the fence and go for a draw? Yeah. I certainly hope not.
You know what? Just because you said that, I can't, but I was going to. I'm going to go for a Liverpool 2-1 win.
Liverpool 2-1. OK, we'll see what happens. Glenn, I'm sure you'll be watching. It's a pleasure to have you on. Thanks very much indeed.
Yeah, mate. Cheers.